Tonight, on a very special episode of The Henry Rollins Show, an uncut interview with Steven Tyler of Aerosmith. Steven joins us to discuss 30 years of making rock and roll history, both on and off the stage. This is a conversation you don't want to miss. Don't move. Steven Tyler is joining us tonight. Aerosmith's most recent greatest hits compilation, Devil's Got a New Disguise, marks their 26th release. And with more than 100 million albums sold worldwide, Aerosmith continues to be one of the most enduring and powerful forces in American rock music. Nowhere near slowing down, we're catching Steven in the middle of another world tour, and we're incredibly grateful that he could take the time to sit with us tonight. Steven?
Sire.
Good to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you, too.
Let me tell you something before we go any further.
Yeah.
Aerosmith was my first arena rock concert experience. The single was Walk This Way. That would be Toys in the Attic, yeah? And I remember very vividly you all, it was the Capitol Center in Largo, Maryland. And you all opened with Rats in the Cellar. And I remember the din in my ears that lasted for like 2 days afterwards, and the smell of arena weed. It was all very new for me, and so that was my first big rock experience was you. And I was like in the $8 seats, like a mile and a half away, and it could have been you guys. I mean, I guess it was you guys. You were like this big on stage, but I really enjoyed it. So it's good to finally meet you and have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about your new album. You're now, is it in any kind of stage of completion? Have you started it, or?
It's you always got, like, I keep a thumbnail sketch. I keep a book full of little terms like I'll be sitting somewhere and go, the buzz that you be getting from the crack don't last. I'd rather be ODing on the crack of your ass. And I'll write that down and put it in a book. And if the song comes up, I'll fit it in. That's how I write my lyrics. So this is the last album for Sony, and we're putting together some songs that we've written in the past that never finished, and stuff we're going in to write right now.
The album Toys in the Attic, for a lot of people, it's the album of their time. It's the album of a generation. Certainly for me, that record was huge for me. That and Rocks, are a very big part of my teenage years, and those are two records that I still listen to this day, and they're still really good. How do you feel about the Toys in the Attic record all these years later?
I still love it. I remember putting records together. It was a moment in time. For the 6 months or 5 months it took us to do that album, I don't remember spending any more than a year writing those albums. We would do blockouts, which was you just bought the studio, record plant in New York, for 2 months. And we would arrive at, I'm laughing because we would get there at like 9 o'clock at night and snorting half a Peru,
right.
Get in by 3 o'clock in the morning, do the song, take 21. And then Jack Douglas would take the song and the front of take one, to the middle section of 14, to the end of, we would put it together, and it was God, it was so much fun. To this day, they still work in a sense that we were on a mission. There was no, maybe if the band doesn't work. There was no, it was that we have to do this, that we're going to do this, that we're going to make this work. And after that first song at 1325 Comm Ave in Boston, where I sat on a waterbed with Joe, and he went, and I went, we all live on the edge of town. I went, give me a paper, give me a pencil, and I wrote it down. We wrote our first song. After that moment, it was Ole Ole Infree. I knew that we had something that no one else had. You would never say that back then, but it was open up for whoever you could, whether it was, you know, the Animals or the, you know, but we would do that, and we got into such a flow of writing, touring, that particular album, when we got into the flow of rocks, particularly Toys in the Attic, wow. I mean, it was, Joe would come up with a lick, and I would throw down the melody, and it would build like that. And within 3 or 4 days, we'd have the song. Right down to Back in the Saddle Again. I remember taking tambourines and gaffer taping them to my boots and having someone bring in a piece of, you know, marine plywood. You know, peeling off my boots and chaps, I'm sad, you know, and just having fun. You know, it was all fun back then. It was, the creativity was just, even if it sucked, it would have sucked big. Yeah. So it just had to be, it was just something that was, just something clicked. Right. Something clicked.
Listening to your old albums, how do you think your artistic tastes have changed?
I'm not sure if we even have any artistic tastes. I think that the thing about this band, a lot of people like to think, well, that's my favorite rock band. But however, what about Dream On, Don't Kiss Your Thing? I mean, Miss a Thing. There's a whole other side that when I first went and saw Joe Perry's band play in New Hampshire, I had been in bands since '64 till, you know, '69, and then quit those and went, that's it. Hitchhiked from Long Island all the way up to New Hampshire. I was at my wit's end. I thought, oh my God, this isn't working. I'm gonna have to tune pianos or become a forest ranger or something. And then I'm mowing the lawn. Joe Perry pulls up in his little car and goes, hey, I didn't know you were up here. And his black hair down to here, black horn-rimmed glasses, white tape. I mean, the nerd thing. However, when I went and saw him that night, they did Alvin Lee. I'm going home. I see my baby.
Yeah.
And then they did that one song. Dum 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 do 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 dum. Well, if you wanna rock, that Rattlesnake Shake song, and it grooved so ridiculously so that I went, ah. So that coupled with my father went to Juilliard. He was a pianist, and putting those two together. I forget your original question. But you see, that's how it grew, and it grew from going from that type of feeling to, and then Dream On, which was off the first album I wrote. That there is no what it is about Aerosmith. A person can love something about Aerosmith. Oh, I love that Angel song, but then another person can say, I love Train Kept A-Rollin'. Yeah. And oh my God, Fever, who wrote that? And blah blah blah. And I think that the thing about Aerosmith that's been longevity is that the diversity. That's what I believe in my heart.
But stylistically, do you think the band has gone through any changes? I mean, there's always been a lot of blues in the music, and that seems to be a real main artery of this band. Is it's not always blues-based music what you do, but there's always some blues somewhere on that record.
When I listen to Toys in the Attic and I listen to Pump, for instance, wow. You know, they have their rock spots, they have their wet spots, they have their let's have a cigarette now spot, pass me the Kleenex spot, they have the I want to get married to that song spot, but they're two separate albums. Yeah. And then we went into that place where we wrote with some other people. Still, nevertheless, I wrote with people that came up with ideas, and I went, dude, I can't sing that. What are you kidding? And I fought with them, and I went, you know, there goes my old girlfriend. There's another diamond ring. And, you know, all the late night promises. I would do that with, you know, the Marty Fredricksons, the Richie Supas, I remember Loving an Elevator. Now, I wrote the lyrics to that anyway, because I always, you know, you get in an elevator and people are going, they're looking up at the numbers changing. They won't look at each other and go, hey, so how you doing, man? No, not a chance. They're looking at the numbers, as if, right? Oh, I'm waiting to see what floor. Well, come on, man. No one will talk to each other in there. And I just thought, what if I wrote a song called Love in an Elevator, which would kind of, maybe if they were in an elevator, they would think about, and maybe that's insane, but therein lies the creativity. It comes from that place where, are you out of your mind? Who's to say? But it sure is a lot of fun. And then the next week, I'm putting air in my tires, and I'm watching a car go by with the roof down, and people are going, "Love in an elevator!" And they're all singing it. I'm going, "Oh my God, wow! What? You know, it's the greatest thrill on the planet." You know, you're Henry Rollins. You've written songs where the next door neighbor's singing it and going, you know, and you're going, "Wow, I wrote that last week," and right? I mean, isn't there a connection there?
I've never succeeded on that level, but every once in a while, someone will say, you know, something you did means something to me. Or it goes a long way, you know, because you have had some impact.
Yeah. If you're lucky enough to, you know, be loved by the mass media, I don't know.
Well,
be in a band with a guy named Joe Perry that comes up with those riffs where I go, whoa, hold on, what'd you just play? What was that? Hold on, what was that? You know? I can't tell you, for 6 months, I was going, I love to sing down, I love to meet a dead. And I would sing along with his line until one day I went, no, let him play the lick and I'll answer it. 1971, we all heard the starters gone. We in Max's Kansas City, you know what I mean? It was at that moment. It was kind of like Helen Keller working with the woman that supposedly was, you know, she was rich, her parents were rich, and she was deaf and dumb, and she had a nanny, right? And every day someone would go in her hand, go, in sign language.
Teach her how to sign, yeah.
Until she was 16, and one day she was at the pump with water, and the nanny went W-A-T-E-R, and that one day Helen got it, and she went, and it meant everything to them. To her.
Yeah.
Oh, suddenly reams of words in every story that all her life was ever told to her made sense. Sometimes that happens with music. For me, especially when Joe's playing, I'll hear something in that, and it'll work, and I'll put it together. And I'm just telling you my passion. When I watched that scene with Helen Keller in that movie, I went, wow. You know, how do you say that any other way?
Yeah. There, you know, is very widely known, you know, back a few decades ago, you and your partner, Joe, were very naughty boys. And it's amazing that you guys are alive.
It's amazing.
What effect has sobriety had on you?
It, first of all, you know, booze makes you feel good. Heroin makes you feel good. Otherwise, popes and presidents wouldn't be strung out on pain pills like they have. I can't put my finger to which ones, but Kennedy certainly had his problems with back pain. And there's a thing about those drugs that make you feel good. However, after a while, it steals you like a crook. It will take your... It will just... There was a point where I couldn't remember my name. I just got so high. I was shooting coke. We were smoking... It wasn't crack. You made your own bass back then. But we got so high because we had so much money, call it what it is, that I lost my capabilities of putting one and one together. I remember being with Rick Rubin once, and this was before the Walk This Way thing, and trying to write a song, and the lyrics were something about, I mean, it was just dildonic. I just didn't get the big picture. It took my soul. It steals you. Henry. Was I through? How many people have not out? You know, they suck their kneecaps. Where do you wind up at the end of the day with that? You can't really, if you're given a gift to write, if you're given a gift to be in a band with someone like Joe Perry, if you're given a gift to be in a band with 4 other guys like I am, then you got to use it.
From those times, you know, you emerged relatively unscathed from a pretty intense period of self-abuse. Is there any scars that we don't see? Any lasting damage?
I've lost some people. I've lost some friends. I've lost some people that I loved dearly that just broke my heart beyond belief. In fact, I'm in the middle of it now. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it just seems to me, you know, if you look at like Mick and Keith, people try and hang with that band, and they got a lot of people killed. Like people would try and hang with Charlie Parker, and we get them killed. You know, just to trying to keep up with that comet. I'm sure there's just a lot of people who got chewed up in the machine that is Aerosmith.
Yes, and those people did get chewed up and spit out and thrown away. I've had one of my, Richie Supa, I wrote Amazing with him. He came to me one day and said, you know, I was at a meeting. We used to, you know, there's no secret that AA and NA and so forth, and I know where I came from. I know what I did. I know what I did right and wrong. Sometimes I think I do. But going to AA meetings, sometimes you hear some people that are a lot more down and out than you are. And this black chick in Florida said, you know, I kept the right ones out and let the wrong ones in. And I went, oh. Actually, I didn't. Richie did. And he came to me with that, and it had an angel of mercy to see me through all my sin. There were times in my life when I was going insane, trying to walk through the game. Yeah, I've got scars.
Yeah.
I've got scars. I don't like to... I went through hepatitis C. I had an ACL reconstruction, and when the doctors went in, they went, you know, there's something weird with your blood. I went, well, what? And they went, we don't know, but we're going to get the blood test back. And when they did, you have it's called non-A, non-B hepatitis.
Yeah.
It wasn't called hepatitis C then. Well, what does that mean? Am I going to die? Well, when you're 60 or 50, you may. How you doing? I said, well, I'm on stage every night. So you're asymptomatic. And I went, what does that mean? They said, you don't feel it. And I went, damn right. But they went, you still have it. And I went, oh, shit. So I spoke to Deepak Chopra's brother, Sanjeev, who's the head of the liver clinic in Boston. And the year the band was given off, I went in, and the doc went, I think it's time for you to do this, you know, because it's very much from, you know, India. I think you should do this. And I went, oh, God, all right. So, you know, you do once a week, you do a shot in whatever fat you got, and you take 3 pills in the morning, 3 at night. And I got to tell you, man, I spent a year doing that, not 11 months. And I kicked it. It's non-detectable in my bloodstream, thank God above. But to go through that Hep C, to get, you know, the only way out is through, to get through the other side, fine. I did it. I managed to do it. Right. To do Super Bowl, to come do your show, to do whatever I can, there's never enough time. What did I say to you yesterday? Why do we do this? Where'd you say you were 2 days ago?
Oh, Lebanon.
Lebanon.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, 2 days ago. Most people were in the bathroom, the best they can recall, 2 days ago. And you were in Lebanon. I was in Russia. And so why do we do that to ourselves, we ask ourselves, right? What did you say to me?
I think because we're great and we're amazing and we're something like that. I think we said.
Is there a camera on?
No, I said that too.
You may have, but you also said because we're driven.
Yeah, and life is short. I think that's what I said.
And life is short. Yes, life is short, and why? Because we can.
Yeah.
And it's a bitch, but I'll tell you what, man. I'm so grateful. I have 3 daughters that beat the shit out of me daily.
Well, in all the decades of playing and touring, you must have some regrets.
I do, in the respect that I wasn't there for some of my kids. And even today, I can't be like my daughter Chelsea graduated high school, and I was in Dubai and then Mumbai. And when I told her, we both cried, and you do what you can do, you know. But my daughters and my son, they both have had said that they've been to enough shows, and I said, I want you to be down there in the barricade, and they've watched Daddy like this. And they kind of get, when they hear 20,000 people going, they get, you know, what it is. That's, right. And that's why we have that house and the pool with a roof over it. That I'll never get back, even when I sell the house. They get, and they understand. So no regrets.
Good. How does the Aerosmith story end, if there's an end to it?
Well, Joe's bald. Steven has a mohawk. It's purple. And they're both in a movie, and they're sliding down this cheese grater. It's a giant cheese grater. And as they slide down, bits and pieces of them are getting cut off. And at the very end, that's just Tyler's mouth going, "Ibbity, ibbity, 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 that's all, folks." Oh, God, I don't know.
Well, you're not tired of making records.
No, absolutely not. I literally got that as a request for a movie. That's when I said, Danielle, check out the emails and put the A and B list. I only want to see the A's. I don't think the band's, as long as I can sing, like I was saying before, what was her name? Remember I said Judy Carn?
Yeah, Judy Carn, yeah.
Was dating Joe Perry. Right. And she had a makeup artist that was this queen from, my God, the sweetest guy, funniest guy, but he worked for Bette Midler. So he got us tickets to see Bette. This was the tour where she came on stage when the curtain went up in wheelchairs. Did you see that tour?
Mm-mm.
You had to be there. The whole cast was out on wheelchairs, rolling around, singing songs. So I figured, okay, I can even do it then. God, as long as they love it, I'm there. I'm going to be there to do it.
Right.
And I think you're going to be the same thing, right? Don't you think?
Yeah. I can't see retiring.
How would you?
For me, the concept is, it's like till the wheels fall off. I mean, what else is there to do?
Yeah.
What else are you going to sit on a porch?
Yeah. I've got some friends I'd love to sit on a porch and smoke cigars with and talk, but then there comes a time where it's like, all right, you got 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's cool for an afternoon, but you can't, you know, some people, they retire when they're really young. You know, they go away. They pack it up. I could never do that.
No, it's in my blood.
Yeah.
I look at Joe and I think, my God, I look at Joe Perry, and for all the ups and downs and love and hate, and he is so the real deal and still keeps it real. He still, you look at him on stage, I get to look at him like that before I go on stage, and that guy, he's the real deal. Kramer, you know, Joey, Brad, he's the employee of the month. He's the best player in the band. And Tom, who had cancer, who came back, he beat it, is playing things I went, what are you, dude? Where did you come up with that? So it's such a get off.
Yeah.
I like the Fish, but man, oh man, there's nothing like it.
Yeah. Well, at least you understand it for what it is. I mean, a lot of people don't appreciate what they have. In any case, since I was about 14, I've listened to your music, and it was great having you as a guest, and you did not disappoint on any level. Thank you so much, man.
God, Henry, thank you so much.
Right on. And that is our show for tonight. Thank you again to my guest, Mr. Steven Tyler, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.